I need karma to post about my entitled mom, who's forcing me to marry my cousin AMA. This seems like a lie though. It's not. I have a third cousin in the Dominican Republic who wants to come to the United States in order to be a nurse. We hung around each other so much that she feels like a regular cousin. My mom at this point cares more about her than she does about me, and she has plans to make me go to the Dominican Republic and marry her and stay married for a year. I fail to see how this can happen if there's a worldwide pandemic going on, but really doubting this. Okay. Insult me, and I'll turn it into a compliment. As of right now, I will no longer be complimentizing overused or similar insults for the sake of originality and freshness. Edit 2. Today has been filled to the brim with so many heartfelt warming compliments by all of you. I appreciate all of y'all from the bottom of my heart, but unfortunately now I must go to bed, but I will be back reading through all of your compliments and nice messages tomorrow. Not with your subpar intelligence level, you won't. Actually, I'll accept subpar intelligence, better than lack of intelligence or no intelligence whatsoever. I am glad you see at least a good portion of intelligence in me, thank you. Wow. You're good. But not as good as your mom. Be happy for my mom no matter what she is good at, so thank you for complimenting my mom. Okay, I give up. You win. Oh wait, just thought of a good one. You're a nincompoop. In the critically acclaimed movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Oompa Loompas call Augustus Gloop a nincompoop. Obviously, he is known for his gluttony and how fat he is. By calling me a nincompoop, you are thereby calling me Augustus Gloop, and thereby calling me fat, and from there I can just say one of my previous points, if I was fat, fat people have a better chance of surviving on a deserted island, since they have more spare calories to burn off, so a way you inadvertently told me that I'd have a better chance of surviving in the wild or stranded, which I take as a pretty cool. You look as bad as me, and when I walked by the garbage it threw up. Well, I can assume that you meant to say threw up instead of threw up. I know the difference between through and through, but it seems maybe that's not so common knowledge. This just gave me a massive confidence boost. If you were racing alone, you'd still be second place. Actually, I don't mind being in second place, or last place. I think that even if you're in last place, it is still better than not having raced at all. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as someone tried. They're doing good. Anyway, thanks for letting me pass on my philosophy to you. It means a lot. You look like a stretched burnt chicken nugget. You know what, I still love myself, even though I look like a burnt chicken nugget, I still love myself. And that is all that matters. And plus, I love burnt chicken nuggets. As a kid, I wanted to be one when I grew up, so thank you for the kind compliment, stranger. You're ugly. Thanks, that's exactly the look I was going for. Everyone else tries so hard to look pretty, so I thought why not go out of the box and try to look ugly. But why choose to be the minority everyone despises? IDK, I think it's good to experience execration every once in a while. You have a tiny D. It's not the size of the boat that matters, but the motion of the ocean. Benefits of a small D include less awkward random visible boner incidents. While you guys are worrying about that sort of stuff, where am I? Peacefully minding my own business, as those kinds of things won't have to worry me if I hypothetically have a small D. 28 years old and have just beaten cancer for a second time. AMA. Got results from a scan today that shows I'm now back in remission. I still have 2 sessions of chemotherapy to go, which I must still complete. But feeling good. So, you know the drill, AMA. How does it feel making cancer your bitch? Like a freaking boss. Give it its dues, though it gave as good as it got. Congratulations. Did you got the same type of cancer? Thank you. No, we thought it was. Originally I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. While not to underplay it, if you could pick a cancer to get, it's the one you want. While it has a high relapse rate, it's incredibly slow growing, so if you catch it early, you are unlikely to die from it. They actually at times wait for years until it's at a size where it's worth treating. So when my lymph nodes were enlarged, they assumed it was just that. However, once I was scanned, they discovered that it had transformed, there is a word they use for it but I can't think what it was off the top of my head, into non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a faster growing and ergo more dangerous type. And the scan showed it was much further advanced than we suspected. My spine was riddled with it and it had also spread to my spleen. How old were you as you got the first cancer? Do you prefer to get as much information relating to cancer as you can or not? I was 20 first time round. The first time round I did, I was still full on I am invincible at that age, so odds didn't really faze me. This time round though I kept information I knew to a minimum. I knew my odds were much worse this time round. And I'm old enough now to comprehend that I could die. As cheesy as it may sound, I am a huge believer in the power in the mind. I think if you get told you have poor odds, your mind kinda gives up, then your body does. So I decided early on, trust my doctors to make the right decisions for me. And I do my job of doing what they tell me. Only during my discussion today did we have a conversation about the odds I faced. Which, for the sake of answering a possible follow-up question, I was told my youth was probably my biggest saving grace. Other side of 40 I would be looking at pretty unfavorable odds. This feeling when everyone else just want to die and this guy just beat cancer 2 times. Congratulations anyway, hope you can enjoy life now. Wash your hands folks. I'd be pretty peeved to beat this twice and then get took out by a flu on steroids. Tears of joy, thanks. I never stopped enjoying it. Just now I'm back to not having an expiry date looming over me. Glad to hear. Since your first or second diagnosis, have you made any lifestyle changes as to attempt to try to avoid a subsequent diagnosis, i.e. diet, exercise, home testing, product selecting, etc.? I realize cancer factors may not be very controllable, though I still am curious, thanks. Thank you. Not really TBH, I did quit smoking first time and cut back my drinking. However, both was more likely due to growing up and settling down, starting a family, etc. My diet and exercise regimes, whilst not perfect, are certainly reasonable. But as you say, what they say gives you cancer changes every day, and if I avoided everything they gave you cancer, I imagine life would be pretty dull. Do you know what the chances were for you to survive twice? First time round was caught very early and was a pretty safe form of cancer. Survival rate for that was about 90% plus. This time round was caught much later and a more aggressive type. I refused to even discuss survival rates until today, funnily enough. I just didn't want to know. He reckoned I was about 50-50 first time he saw the scan. But my youth is apparently a really important factor. If I was over 40, it likely would be pushing into the 3040% range. I'm 14 and my dad was arrested when I was 8 and I haven't seen him since AMA. Why did he got arrested? I don't really want to delve into it because it's not really my story, but he got caught molesting my half-sister on my mom's side. Not my dad's biological daughter. Oh, that's fricked up good for the half-sister that he is in prison now. I don't know if he is in prison now, TBH. I don't really remember, but we didn't have much evidence. He's probably worse off than when he went to prison. He was a drug addict and an alcoholic, so he's probably not doing so well by himself. Has he tried to make contact? Would you want to see him? He's friended my mom on Facebook a couple times and stuff like that. I don't want to have any contact with him whatsoever, and neither does the rest of my family. I made a promise to my sister that I won't talk to him in the next 10 years, and I made a pact with my brother that if we see him again we beat the shit out of him on sight, no matter the circumstances. How is your sister doing? She's doing good. She has a loving boyfriend and is in college now. Except we've had some problems with my stepdad and her real dad. He's a good guy, except he's a veteran with PTSD and he's off his meds. He's done some crazy things like leave her a sword on her doorstep, post pictures of dead cops on his social media, and recently he has sent links to Ink Po to my sister and my mom. We have a restraining order against him, but we're still worried about it. Wow, not a lot of great male role models, it seems. How has it impacted your life? Well, my mom's boyfriend is actually a pretty good role model, and I actually look up to my wrestling coach a lot. So far it seems like I've had a normal life to me, but other people think my home life is weird. I don't tell people about my dad being arrested, I usually only tell them that my parents divorced, so most people don't have much sympathy. It's sorta normal nowadays. If I had to be honest with you, I'd say I'd had a pretty normal life so far. I've always looked up to my mom and my sisters as well. You're a clever 14-month-old kid. The M stands for male, haha. I'm a 16-year-old stroke survivor with cerebral palsy. I had a stroke as a fetus due to a blood clot problem in my mom, and for my entire life I've lived with a lazy eye, a limp and a right hand that's basically a glorified towel rack. I actually like to talk about my disability as I think I'm helping people understand my condition more and more. Thankfully only the part of my brain that controls one-sided movement was affected by the injury. As any of my doctors can tell, I do not have any problems with learning or comprehension, and I'm not at risk for another stroke. I'm on stage crew at multiple theater companies. I love to write and draw. I play the melodica and auxiliary percussion, tambourine, bells, small drums in a band, and I ride horses with little to no troubles. I'm not ashamed of my CP at all, so ask away. I'm sorry, I don't really have a question. But frankly, you're amazing. Like, genuinely. Oh, thank you for the kind words. Like, that really means a lot, smiley face. How many meals do you eat in a day? 2 or 3 depending on the day. If I sleep in late I'll have a largish meal around 11 a.m., and then dinner with my family anywhere from 5-6 p.m. If I'm up early I'll have breakfast and a smaller lunch. Hey, my older brother also has CP and suffered a stroke as an infant. His was due to hydrocephalus. He was born 14 weeks premature as a twin. His twin didn't make it. His condition seems more pronounced than yours though. He's only got the one fully working limb, left hand, but he can sort of clench his right, has a moderate learning disability and a very noticeable issue with his short-term memory. In addition, he wasn't fully developed when born and has had to have a lot of surgery to hold everything from the waist down together. He's also better at any kind of video game than I am. How are your PlayStation skills? I don't play PlayStation sadly, I'm broke, but Persona 5 looks so good, but I can say that I type both on touchscreen and keyboard one-handed faster than a lot of my friends and classmates can two-handed. I mostly play Nintendo games and some computer games, and when I used to take OT, I would play in sessions. Since the Nintendo DS had mostly right-handed controlled and I'm a left-hammy, it was pretty good therapy. Yeah, I thankfully got a very mild injury, which is something that I do not take for granted. It's also caused by where in your brain the stroke happened. I had a very minor one in the movement area, and thus my cognitive abilities aren't that bad. I will say that there was a link between my stroke and my anxiety though. What does it feel like to have a stroke? I've been in a coma, but that's about it. Like I said, I was a fetus when it happened. I don't remember.